Hey, sickos. I'm LJ,
And I'm Toe.
and this is.
Say psycho right now.
So appreciate you guys still returning despite the fact that all of this is dark and twisty.
Yeah, we do appreciate you guys putting up with our bullshit every week.
God, it's a service, truly.
Truly. All right, shall we jump right into this one?
Yeah, get into it. This one. I will just preface. I am going in blinder than a damn bat. I don't know anything about this other than the title, and I'm just I have questions. So
Okay, yeah.
go for it.
So here comes Toe hopping down
The crazy
spooky lane with another fucking lunatic.
God.
Okay, this episode is going to be about dun 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 dun.
Wow, you're such a good singer.
Thank you. Actually did have a great following at karaoke for a long time, I'll have you know.
Over here?
Yeah. Today's episode is about the Giggling Granny.
God, what an icon already. I can feel it.
Oh, she is an icon. And actually, matter of fact, on the platforms where I'm able to, I'm going to link, there's like a 3-minute video out there on YouTube that's like a rare interview with her. And the point behind the interview, it really doesn't contain a whole lot of information, but just watch her, like, just feel the vibe.
Just watch.
Just watch her, like, her mannerisms, I guess.
Yeah.
She's a very fucking bizarre woman. Okay, let's get into it. Without further ado, a little background here. Nanny Doss, whose birth name was Nancy Hazel, was born on November 5th, 1905 in Blue Mountain, Alabama. Her parents were Louisa and James Hazel, and she had one brother and 3 sisters. Now, her father, he was said to be extremely controlling and abusive, and she eventually grew to hate him, and her mother hated him too. They all hated him. He was a piece of shit. They didn't get any formal education because her father forced them to work on the family's farm. Just day in and day out, hard labor, no breaks. Now, when Nanny was 7, her family was traveling by train to visit relatives when the train stopped suddenly and Nanny struck her head on a metal bar.
Oh, so we got the head trauma.
Yeah, we got the head trauma. So now it's said for years she suffered from headaches, blackouts, and depression. And later on, you know, she's gonna use this as an excuse for some fuckery. Actually, fuckery is like the understatement of the year. But now, as teenagers, James, her father, he forbid his daughters from wearing any makeup or any clothing that was deemed to be, attractive, or going to dances or social events. And he claimed that he believed this would keep them from being molested by men.
Is that how that works?
Apparently, that's how that works. Well, I mean,
Wow.
I think in the early 1900s, that was like really what people believed, that how it worked. To be fair, it's not how it works. Just for
Hate
the
that
record.
era.
Yeah. Now, as a result of this kind of sheltered life that she lived, right? Her favorite pastime became reading her mother's romance novels, and she was just dreaming of a future love. She was just waiting for her Prince Charming to come riding on in there and scoop her up.
And she giggled while she did it.
Oh, she giggled, all right. So she got married at 16 to a young man named Charlie Braggs. And she married him with her father's approval, surprisingly, after just a short 4 months of dating.
Wow.
Yeah. So Braggs, he was the only son of a single mother who was very overbearing. She insisted on living with them after they were married.
Girl, no.
Yeah.
I insist she doesn't do that.
Oh, wow. Unfortunately, she did not hear your plea.
God.
So Charlie's mother took up most of his attention, and it's said that he was controlling towards Nanny. The couple did have 4 daughters together between 1923 and 1927. Sadly, in 1927, the 2 middle girls passed away due to, quote, suspected food poisoning.
Mm.
Now, I mean, even before the girls passed away, their marriage was shit. It was in shambles. They were both cheating on each other. Charlie would go and stay out for days at a time. Nanny began drinking and smoking heavily to cope with her shitty marriage. It was a disaster. Now, following the death of their 2 children, things went further downhill.
Right.
Although it's sad that, Nanny's spirits were lifted a little bit after she collected the life insurance.
Aw, good for her. Not
Yeah.
really, but like, what the people?
Yeah.
I don't know if that would lift my spirits in those circumstances, but whatever.
Well, it lifted Nanny's. Now, it goes without saying here, Charlie suspected that Nanny had poisoned the girls.
Right.
And he like said flat out, he refused to eat or drink anything that Nanny had prepared when she was in a foul mood. Only when she was in a foul mood.
But
Yeah. Not long after the deaths of their 2 middle children, Charlie took their oldest daughter, Melvina, and took off. Now, he did leave their newborn daughter, Florine, with Nanny. So, I
he
mean,
just said, "Freak that one."
yeah, he's like, oh, well, the baby, that's a little too much for me. So,
Yeah.
if
Like, if she lives, she lives. Like,
if
what
she
the
dies,
hell?
she dies. Yeah. Yeah. Charlie's, I mean, I sympathize with him on one hand, but on the other hand, he's also like garbage. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
I
Mostly
mean,
the second one, but
yeah.
whatever. Everybody here sucks. Go
I
on.
mean, I feel bad that his wife, like, more than likely unalived his kids, but like,
Oh, for sure.
other than that, he's like also trash.
Yeah,
So,
he's not doing great either in my book.
yeah. So soon after that, Charlie's mother also passed away. And Nanny ended up working in a cotton mill to support herself and her newborn daughter.
Wait, quick
Now,
question. When his mom passed away, was she still like in the home and like had access to Giggling Granny? Like, is it speculated that she did that too?
unclear, honestly.
Okay,
I
cool.
Unclear. Yeah.
That's valid.
That was one I couldn't really I tried to look up that one. There's the information on this case is a little sporadic.
That's
Um
valid.
so yeah, she began working in a cotton mill to support herself and her daughter. And in the summer of 1928, Charlie and Melvina returned, although they were accompanied by a new friend. He brought back his new woman, and she had a child of her own. And Charlie and Nanny officially divorced not long after that, and Nanny took the two girls to live with her at her mother's home. Charlie would later state that he left because he was afraid of Nanny. And then in 1929, she met and married her second husband, Robert Franklin Harrelson.
Okay.
And shortly after she married him, she discovered that he was also a piece of shit, and he was an alcoholic and had a criminal record for assault.
Well, that's not good.
Yeah, so, but nonetheless, they did stay married for 16 years, so they managed to have a good run. Now, here we are in 1943. Melvina gave birth to Robert Lee Haynes, which was Nanny's grandson.
Mm-hmm.
3 years later, another baby came along, a little girl, I believe it was, but she died shortly after birth. Now, when she was born, Nanny was there. And what happened here is that basically Malvina, she was groggy after giving birth. It was a combination of, the whatever medication they had given her. And I don't know what they were using at that time,
Right.
but just the combination of medication and just exhaustion from labor.
Mm-hmm.
She was feeling a little groggy and not, not as sharp as usual.
Right.
But she swore that she saw her mother stick a hat pin in her newborn baby's head.
Wait, a hat in her newborn baby's head?
A hat pin into so a sharp object into the baby's head.
Oh, okay. I thought you said a hat in. So that makes more sense. Okay.
So
Awful though, but oh my god.
yeah, so she called on her husband and sister for clarification, but they're just like, well, your mom told us the baby was dead.
Right.
However, they had noticed the pin that mom was holding. Yeah, they did notice Nanny like holding a pin, but they're like, well, we didn't see her put it in the baby, but she just told us that the baby was, I guess, stillborn.
God, what a monster.
Yeah. So doctors, unfortunately, were unable to really provide a solid cause of death. And of course, at this time, Malvina was just consumed, and her husband, they were consumed with the grief over their lost child.
Sure.
And their marriage kind of sadly began to drift apart. Malvina then went on to date a soldier, and Nanny did not approve of this man for whatever reason. Now, after a particular, this is where I start to question this entire family. After a particularly nasty fight with her, Malvina went to visit her father. Now, despite this fight and despite what had happened, prior with her daughter, right? Malvina left Robert with Nanny.
Why?
This whole family just like blows my mind.
I'm like, I wish that you could see my face, because if you could see my face, you would see why I don't have as many words coming out of my mouth hole as usual. I'm just like, my jaw's to the floor.
Yeah. So on July 7th, 1945, guess what happened to Robert?
Oh, I'm sure that he was killed in some type of way.
Oh, yeah. So he died mysteriously under Nanny's care.
Oh, wow.
The official cause of death was listed as asphyxia.
Oh, poor honey.
Now, keep in mind, this child would have been around 2 years old. I'm not saying that 2-year-olds can't randomly asphyxiate, but the risk isn't quite there as with like a newborn.
Sure. Like, we've all heard of SIDS, and we also, it's pretty common knowledge these days that as a baby gets older and moves into those toddler years, the risk reduces
The risk
significantly.
reduces significantly. Yeah, I mean, now granted, this wouldn't have probably been common knowledge at that time,
No.
but looking at it from our point of view now, shady.
Yeah, definitely.
So 2 months later, Nanny collected a $500 life insurance policy that she had taken out on her grandson.
Of course she did.
So, and at the time of this recording in 2023, this would be equivalent to just over $8,000.
Oh, I so appreciate that you looked that up for me.
Thank you. I
You're queen.
remembered from the last time we had this debacle
Yeah, my
on
little
the
noodle just
pod.
gets hung up on it. Thanks for that.
Yeah. So in 1945, Nanny's husband, Robert Harrelson, apparently came home drunk and pissed off, and he raped her.
Ugh.
So the next day, she killed him by putting rat poison in his whiskey. This one, I'm like,
I
okay,
was
you
like,
know
okay,
what?
I could get on board with that.
That's valid.
I'm like, I'd look away for this one.
Yeah, I would look the other way for this one, but the problem,
Unfortunately, she's a piece of shit across the board, and that's where the
yeah,
problem lies in this case.
yeah, no, for sure. So then Nanny met Arlie Lanning while she was traveling in Lexington, North Carolina.
Okay.
They met through a Lonely Hearts column in the newspaper.
God, that is so nostalgic.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, like Harrelson,
Get out of here.
Lanning was an alcoholic womanizer. However, in this marriage, it was Nanny who was out there hoeing it up on the streets.
I mean, on one hand, get it, Nanny. On the other, like, y'all all
Just
still suck, though.
stop killing people.
Yeah, if you could just stop that, like, really.
Honestly, I mean, except for the rapist, but like,
Yeah.
why are we killing children?
Yeah, like, it's just a big it's like she doesn't really have, like, a particular demographic she's interested in. She's just like, "Nah, I'm bored. I'm just gonna."
Oh, she's interested in the money, honey.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I
She's
kinda
interested
made
in
that
the
connection
money.
after the first 500 life insurance policies.
Yeah.
Oh,
God. Yeah, she'll kill anybody for a quick stack of cash.
her demographic is a policy that is, like, 30,000 or higher.
Yeah. So she would often disappear even for months on end. But when she was home, she played the doting housewife. And when he died of what was said to be heart failure, the townspeople supported her at his funeral.
Bet.
Now, soon after his death, their home, which had been willed to Lanning's sister, burned down, and the insurance money was somehow issued to Nanny.
Oh, somehow?
Yeah.
That
Soon
seems
after
awfully convenient.
soon after that, Lanning's mother died in her sleep. And Nanny left North Carolina to go to her sister Dubby's home. Now, Dubby was unwell and she was bedridden. And guess what happened shortly after Nanny got there?
Oh my god, I am unwell. Stop it right now. Oh, what did she fake die of?
Oh, God. Probably whatever had her unwell and bedridden. I mean,
That's probably fair.
yeah.
Fair assumption.
Well, and it's so the thing is, up until this point, Nanny did a really good job of picking her victims. She would pick people that were either already old or sick or
Right.
or she would pick kids, which
Maybe don't.
I don't know how they didn't look into those ones, but I guess back in those times, infant mortality was probably a lot higher,
I would
or
especially
childhood.
think like during childbirth, like it doesn't really surprise me that that one didn't get more care and attention because I feel like that was just more common at the time. It's the
Right.
other ones for me, like the
Yeah.
2-year-old. I'm like, I feel like somebody should have been feeling
Somebody should
something
have been
about that.
looking into this for sure. Well, somebody's about to look into something here in just a minute.
About
So,
damn time.
Nanny was once again on the prowl for a husband, and in case you haven't kept track, this is husband number 5.
Okay, good, because I wasn't keeping track, but I was in fact wondering at this point.
Love that we have that connection.
Thanks, Dan.
So, Nanny joined a dating service called the Diamond Circle Club. Now, at this point, she's in her, I think, I want to say mid 40s. You know, she's kind of realizing that her looks are starting to run out. So
Right.
she's looking for an older fellow at this point. And then shortly after that, she met Richard L. Morton of Jamestown, North Carolina. In 1952, they married in Emporia, Kansas. The husband's, sorry, this husband, unlike the others, was not an alcoholic. However, he was unfaithful. Nanny began, I'm sorry, we're still on husband number 4.
Oh my god. What's sad is that we're at the point where we're losing track, and I can't fault you for that. I can
Yeah.
only fault Granny. So it's
No,
fine.
wait a minute. Yeah, I'm sorry. We're on husband number 4. I got all turned around, guys. My bad. We are on husband number 4. This is Richard L. Morton of Jamestown, North Carolina. So again, they married in 1952. Now, again, like I said, he was not an alcoholic. However, he was unfaithful. So Nanny began to plot her husband's demise.
Of course you did.
Yeah, of
Everybody has a
course.
hobby.
As she does, right? But her plans were interrupted when her elderly mother moved in with them. So eventually, Nanny concluded that if she were going to get away with her husband's murder, well, she would just need to kill her own mother
Oh my god.
because she wasn't going to foil her plans to off her husband.
Oh, well, of course not. That wouldn't be reasonable.
That would be so unreasonable. So her mother died in January, with her husband following later in May. Now, very shortly after that, in June of 1953, Nanny married Samuel Doss of Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Girl, she didn't miss a
She
beat.
did not miss a single fucking beat.
Wow, 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 wow. Okay.
Yeah. So Doss was a Nazarene minister, and he had lost his family to a tornado in Carroll County, Arkansas.
Okay, see, that is sad.
Yeah, it is sad. Yeah. So this is the thing. Like, remember when I said before, Nanny did a great job of picking her victims. Aside from the kids, all of her husbands were garbage humans.
Right.
So it's like, how deep are they going to look into this? Well, now she's married to this sweet minister who lost his family in a tornado.
Of
And,
course.
you know, he's prim and proper and decent.
And she's
So,
like, and I lost 4 of my husbands.
yeah.
And blah, blah, blah. Oh,
He's
sob
probably
story
like,
my behind.
oh, Nanny, I'll pray for you. Like,
Fact.
God, I hate it here.
Oh,
So
oh,
he just,
please.
now, the only little fluke in their marriage was that he did disapprove of his wife's favorite pastime of romance novels.
Oh, I thought that her favorite pastime was serial killing, but
Okay,
thank
well, that was her secret favorite pastime.
God.
So, in September of 1953, Samuel was hospitalized with flu like symptoms. And it was there that he was diagnosed with a severe digestive tract infection. And this was after eating Nanny's food.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So he was released from the hospital on October 5th. And on October 12th, Nanny decided to poison him.
My God.
I shouldn't be laughing at this, but this is just like
She's just
ridiculous
like,
at
you're
this
just
point.
taking too long to die. I'm just gonna speed this up. This is getting
Yeah.
inconvenient. You've breathed too long. What the hell?
Literally, this woman is nuts. So her motive is said to have been the 2 life insurance policies that she had taken out on him.
Yeah, that
Of
checks out.
course, checks out, right? Is there a pattern here, folks?
I feel like life
Um,
insurance companies should maybe be flagging her at this point. Is that something they do? Because they should.
well, I mean, it's the 50s. I would imagine that's the thing that they do now. You know, I don't know. I never collected a life insurance policy on a mysteriously deceased husband.
Do you think I'm in a database somewhere now?
I hate that for
They're
you.
the concerns that are gonna keep me up tonight, but okay, go on.
Okay. So, Jesus Christ. Okay, so
Ah.
Samuel's sudden death actually alarmed his doctor. So finally, alarms are going off in somebody's head, and they're saying, wait a minute, this guy should not have performed to stop it.
Right.
Like, what the fuck? So his doctor ordered an autopsy, and the autopsy revealed alarming amounts of arsenic.
Mm.
Yeah. And finally, on her fifth husband, her fourth one that she killed, and that would be her what? In total, like, eighth murder if she did in fact kill her two children.
Which I think we can all
I'm sorry, like
agree.
10th if you count like her mom, and honestly, it's getting out of hand. I can't even count. We're in the double digits at this point.
It's too many. It's objectively too many.
It's objectively too many.
And this story too would have been too many
Yeah.
because we do allow one free pass for the rapist.
We do allow one free pass for the rapist, but everybody else, really, like, come on. So, yeah, Nanny was taken to interrogation, and with the simple promise of being allowed to keep one of her romance magazines, she confessed to killing four of her husbands. Her mother.
That's all it took. Sorry. Go on.
That's all it took.
It's so stupid.
So she confessed to killing four of her husbands, her mother, her sister, her mother-in-law, and her grandson.
Did we count those? That's the 4?
4 husbands, 1 mom, 1 sister, 1 mother-in-law, and 1 grandson. That's 8.
Thank God, I just went cross-eyed trying to count that.
She did not confess, however, to the murders of her granddaughter, which would have been the newborn,
Okay.
or her 2 middle daughters.
Okay.
And it said that as she recalled the gruesome details of her crime, particularly the murders of her husbands, she giggled the entire time.
Ew!
Yeah, that's what's creepy. So, like, when I was talking about the video that I'm gonna try to remember to link in the description, her smile, you guys, her smile is so creepy.
What a little cretin.
Literally, she's terrifying. Okay, so during the investigation, it was also revealed that Nanny had already begun to line up a potential 6th husband.
Stop it right now.
She had been exchanging letters with a North Carolina dairy farmer named John H. Keel.
Move out the way.
Stop it.
God.
Yeah, with you. So when investigators contacted him, he said, quote, stop. Sorry, can you read this with a straight face?
Get out of here.
He said, quote, I'm mighty proud that I didn't meet her and she didn't come down here.
Mighty proud, mighty proud.
End quote.
It ain't much, but it's honest work.
Honestly. When asked what her motive was, Nanny claimed that it was nothing to do with money and all to do with love. She said, I was searching for the perfect mate, the real romance in life. Okay, but then why did you kill the people that you weren't married to?
That was literally going to be my first question. Thank you.
Why did you kill your mom? Well, I mean, okay, she had to kill her mom so she could kill her husband. That checks out.
Oh, she just had to. Valid, yeah.
Well, I mean, in her mind. I'm not saying it was like a valid murder, but okay, so you had to off mom to get to your husband. But why did you kill your sister, mother-in-law, and your grandson? Like, come on.
Right. That would be what we call excessive.
Yeah, I mean, it's just unnecessary. So, despite confessing to all those murders, she was actually only charged with the murder of Samuel Dawes.
Of course.
And that's probably just due to evidence. I mean, at this point, the rest of her victims are pretty well dead at this point. So, they do have the autopsy, though, of him. So they probably knew that's what was going to stick.
Right.
The death penalty was actually taken off the table at that time just due to her gender.
Oh, was that like a thing back then, I guess?
Evidently, that was a thing then.
Okay.
So she pled guilty to his murder on May the 17th, 1955, and she was sentenced to life in prison and remanded to Oklahoma State Penitentiary. As she was escorted out of the room, she glanced over to her daughter, smiling, giggling, and said, "Take it easy. Don't worry, I'm not."
Ew.
Yeah, it's the giggling for me.
Ew.
It's the giggling for me. So,
Thanks, I hate it.
literally, after 2 years in prison, Nanny said she would have preferred the death penalty. It said she. Wait, you're gonna laugh at this one. This is good. This is rich. She requested to work in the kitchen.
Stop it!
But of course, she was denied that request.
Yeah, no shit, Sherlock.
Oh, Jesus Christ. So she passed away on June 2nd, 1965, of leukemia in the prison hospital ward.
God.
And that, ladies, gentlemen, and non binary pals, is the tale of Nanny Doss, the giggling granny.
Bro, I was not prepared. I don't know what I thought this was gonna be, but it wasn't all that.
Guys, honestly, you know, I don't consume as much true crime as LJ does, like by far. And sometimes I struggle to come up with topics. So I'll literally just like Google serial killers and tell me why I pick the most psychotic
Every
fucking
time.
every time. And like I just kind of pick them at random. I'm like, okay, that one looks fun. And then I get like balls deep in the research and I'm like, Jesus Christ.
She's like, I'm not well, bitch.
What a fucking lunatic.
Oh
But it's
my
like,
god.
I'll be in too deep to stop. Like,
No. Like by the time you realize exactly how psychotic this is, like
it's
you're
too
already
late.
halfway through your outline. You're like, well,
I'm already committed to the project. Like, you
yeah.
can't, you can only, like, you can't back out.
No
These,
going back, man.
these stories take a long time to outline.
They do.
A lot of
Like,
work.
do not pass go, or what is it? Pass go. Do not collect $200. That's a toe when she realizes exactly what she's gotten herself into.
Absolutely.
Oh lordy.
Yeah. So,
Well,
go ahead.
awkward. So next week we have another somehow less wild episode for you. But I mean, these are all like dark and morbid and spooky and hellacious. But I don't know. I never come up with anything quite like Toe does. But the next week's episode, just so you know what you have to look forward to, we're going to be talking about a body brokerage that was run out of a funeral home by a mother-daughter duo in Colorado.
Love that.
Yeah, so it's
A lot of fucking lunatics over in Colorado. That's where the Kelsey Barrett case took place.
I was thinking about that too as I was redoing our topic outline, like our schedule recently. I was like, oh my gosh, we've got some serious Colorado issues coming up on our.
Honestly, I mean, everybody talks about like Colorado's so great. I don't know, man.
I would not be signing up to spearhead the real estate boom out there right now after reading these cases.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thanks for hanging out with us today, you guys. Thanks for sticking with us for another absolute sociopath.
Fact. And I guess we should roll this episode out, or I guess wind the episode out. Roll, wind, roll with our social.
Rind.
Rind. Or what are words? I don't even know anymore. Send help.
Okay. Well, what LJ's trying to say is if you have an episode suggestion, you just want to like say hey or tell us we suck and that
especially
we're
that one.
awkward, yeah, you can email us at saypsychorightnow@gmail.com. You can also find us on Facebook, Say Psycho Right Now, a true crime and paranormal podcast. We also have a Facebook group, Say Psycho Right Now podcast community. We're also on Instagram at Say Psycho right now. We are on TikTok, but we are old and don't know how to TikTok. So as of the time of this recording, we don't really have any content on there.
Yeah, but maybe check it out because
Yeah.
Toe does have a scheduled bird or plane for you lay people to come out to visit me here soon. So maybe that's something that's going to be, I mean, we have a priority list of things we want to do here. And I feel like figuring out how to TikTok should be on that list. So maybe we'll have
Yeah.
a TikTok by then. Not a lot, but we
Also,
might have something.
if we get enough patrons, we may show LJ's butt tattoo. So
Okay, let's stop promoting that. Y'all are unhinged. My butt is locked up. However, for $3, you can get access to exclusive live episodes. Some of the lives are going to be completely exclusive just for Patreons. Some of them will be ones that we record live and then remaster in post. But when we do that, they won't come out for like a couple months after. So you're still getting them significantly early.
right.
You also, all tiers of our Patreon, you get early episodes every week. We send those to you early because we do record ahead. Also, if you're in our second or third tier Patreons, you do get a special little sticker of our logo, which I know a lot of people are a fan of. That will come to you after 3 consecutive months of pledging as a Patreon. And I also do want to point out our link tree. Our link tree has everything. It's our lifeline. So some of you are probably going to be listening to this well later than the time of the recording. So check our link tree to see what else we have going on. We do have surprises coming up. And
Yes.
yeah, definitely check that out as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
All
I
right.
think that about does it. If you're still here, thank you truly from the bottom of our hearts for sticking with us. We know we're a disaster. And we will see you next week.
Bye, sickos.
Toodaloo.
Oh no! Did we perform a fuckaroni?